decided to do a low spend year or a low buy year. If you don't know what a low spend year is, it is a challenge where you cut back on unnecessary spending. I am a pretty frugal person, so I think that this challenge is going to be easy for me. This is going to be the first time that I ever do this challenge. I mean, I did try to not spend on some things during this year, but this is the first time that I am sitting down and I am creating a Notion template for myself to see clearly what are going to be my categories, where I'm going to spend, where I'm going to maybe treat myself, and where I'm not going to spend. In today's day and age, I feel like most of us want to spend less and save more to invest in ourselves and in our future. So I'm very excited about this challenge. I'm going to have 3 categories. My first category is going to call necessities, so it is pretty self-explanatory. The second category that I'm going to have for myself is going to be called treat myself, and the third category is going to be the things that I'm not buying. So let's have a look at my Notion template. This is what I created for this challenge for myself. I named the page Wealthy Girl Era because I definitely don't want this challenge to come from a place of scarcity and a place of scarcity towards money. I do believe that the energy we have towards anything is the energy that we're going to get back. So if I feel like I don't have enough money, that I'm not capable of earning more money, I feel like this is what is going to happen. I'm not going to earn more money, I'm just going to keep on losing money, and I'm not going to be in my wealthy girl era. So I want this challenge to be something fun for me, something that will help me spend more cautiously, but that will also help me to save more money and invest in myself and in my future. So I tried to make it a bit aesthetic. I mean, I'm trying to make everything aesthetic. First of all, I created this banner for my Notion page, and it has a few pictures that I think that are inspiring and motivating. So let's start with the category number 1, necessities. Pretty self-explanatory. This is going to be the category where I will spend on every single month. These are the things that I have to spend in order to live, survive, and just to have a decent lifestyle, let's say. And these are just things that I have to spend on. I cannot just not spend on these categories. Now, the fun thing about this category is that you are the one who will decide what is a necessity for you. So the things that are a necessity for me might not be a necessity for you, and vice versa. So let's have a look at what my necessities are. First of all, rent. Obviously, I have to pay my rent in order to keep living in this apartment. Then secondly, I wrote bills. So my water bill, my electricity, I have to pay these as well. Groceries, obviously, I need food to survive and stay healthy. Doctor's appointments. There are some doctor's appointments that I choose to pay for. Next up, I wrote down 1 haircut. I am the type of person who's getting a haircut only once a year. This year, I unfortunately cut my hair 3 times, which is a lot for me. I was not satisfied with the first 2 times that I went to a hairdresser, and then I ended up going to another one. So that's why I went 3 times. And I also don't know how to cut my own hair, so getting 1 haircut during the new year is something that I will have to do. Then next up, I wrote down vet appointments for my dog Bella. Of course, I'm going to pay for her vet appointments, for her checkups if something comes up for her. This is a no-brainer and non-negotiable. I'm going to pay for my pet's health. The next thing I wrote down goes hand in hand with the previous one, dog groomer, again for my dog Bella. She's a Maltese, so she needs grooming quite often. We cannot leave her ungroomed for months and months. This is something that you cannot do with a Maltese, and we cannot groom her ourselves. We didn't teach her ever since she was a puppy, so now she's not behaving well if we try to groom her, so she needs to go to the dog groomers. Then I have written down gifts for birthdays, for close family and friends. Then I have written down christening. During the new year, I'm going to become a godmother for the second time. This comes with some expenses, and of course this is non-negotiable. I have to do that. I want to do that. So that goes under the necessities category. Then my mobile phone data. In order for me to be able to use my phone, I need to pay some money for that. Next up, I have written down contact lenses. I do mostly wear contact lenses when I film or when I'm I'm going out, so this is something that I need to have. And my last necessity is the fee that I pay for my editing program that I use. I use Filmora to edit my videos, and I pay that once a year. So this is of course something that I will have to pay. Otherwise, I won't be able to edit my videos. I'm also a freelance video editor. So again, this is a huge necessity. I need to have the editing program. The next category is a very fun one. I decided to name it Treat Myself. These are things that are not necessities, but I would like to spend on in order to treat myself. These are all, of course, going to have a limit, a budget. Not that the first category doesn't have a budget and a limit. These necessities also have a limit and a budget for me. But for the Treat Myself category, I'm going to be a bit more strict, let's say, with my budgets and with my limits. One thing that I really love to do is to go to new coffee shops and have a pastry and drink a coffee, something warm, a beverage, a tea, and that's why it is number one on the list. Then theater and movies. If something that I really want to see premieres, I'm going to go and watch that either on the theater or at the movies. This is not something that I do very often, but in case something premieres that I really want to see, I'm going to treat myself on that. New clothes only if something needs to be replaced or it is a staple piece that I don't already have. I'm not going to buy any new trendy clothes just because they are in fashion right now, just because everybody else is buying it right now and everybody else is wearing it. I normally don't ever do that. I'm generally very specific with the clothes that I'm buying. I don't ever spend huge amounts of money on new clothes. I never did that, and I don't plan on doing that this year either. But I'm going to treat myself to some new pieces if I believe that they are a staple that I don't already have in my closet, or if something gets destroyed and I need to replace it. Next up, I have skincare, only if I run out of the products that I already have. Of course, I love my skincare. It is part of my everyday self-care, but I'm not going to buy unnecessary skincare. I'm just going to buy refills for the products that I need and I know that they work. The same thing goes for makeup as well. I'm going to buy new makeup only for refills if something that I already have runs out. One more thing that I really love is reading books, so I can treat myself to used books, or if they are very discounted. I mean, I didn't write about the discount, but I'm telling you now, if a book, for example, costs, I don't know, 2-3 euros and it is a new one or a used one and I want it and I don't have other books left to read, I'm going to get it. But this is not something that I will do on a regular basis. This is something that will happen rarely. I know that I still have plenty of books to read going into the new year, so definitely don't need any new books at the moment. Perfume only if I run out, like the skincare and the makeup. I will get a new perfume only if I run out. I don't wear perfume every single day anyways, so I do keep my perfumes for a pretty long time. And honestly, perfumes are not that great for our hormones, so I don't use them that often. Then the last thing in my treat myself category is going to a new gym, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go to a gym, if I'm going to enroll myself, but I'm thinking that maybe during the new year I might want to go to a new gym. I'm not sure yet, but if I end up doing that, this is going to go under the treat myself category. Even though working out and moving our bodies is definitely something important and I consider it being a necessity for me, I still can work out in my apartment. I have dumbbells, I have my yoga mat. I don't have to go to a gym, so that's why I wrote it in the treat myself category. And the last category is the things that I'm not buying. First thing in the category, new books. I'm not going to buy brand new books in full price. Like I said before, I'm only going to allow myself to use books or if a new book is very well discounted. So new books in full price, I'm not buying this year. Home decor, this is something else that I'm not buying. I try to keep my space minimal. I don't like it to be very cluttered. Of course, I want my space to have a bit of character, but I think that the home decor pieces that I have are enough, so I'm not planning on getting any new ones. The next thing goes hand in hand with the home decor, so furniture. We have all the furniture that we need in this apartment. We don't need anything else. I sometimes think that maybe I could get a new side table for the living room or a lounge chair, but then I think that first of all, it's going to be a bit expensive, and second of all, my space is a bit small, so I don't want it to feel very stuffed and cluttered. Jewelry is something that I'm not going to be purchasing this year. I have a few staple pieces. The quality of them is good, so they're not going to get tarnished. Is that how it's called? They're not going to look blue, green, you know, those cheap jewelry that you buy and then they get destroyed within a few days or a few months. I don't own any jewelry like that. I have a good few pieces and I'm not planning on getting any new ones. Next up, I wrote down subscriptions. So apart from my subscription for my editing program, I'm not going to be paying for any other subscriptions. For apps, for Netflix, for Spotify. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I have Netflix, but my boyfriend is paying for it. Also, I live together with my boyfriend. If you're new to my channel, we live together, so I can use his Netflix. His Netflix is also my Netflix, even though I'm not paying for it. But you get the idea. I'm not going to be paying for any other apps or subscriptions. I'm not going to be buying any new devices. I've had this phone since 2019. It is a Samsung S10 Plus. Samsung has released so many other phones since then, but I'm not planning on buying a new phone or a new laptop or I don't know, a new television. I'm not going to get any new devices because everything that I own is still working perfectly fine, and I don't see why I should spend more money to get new devices when the ones that I already have work perfectly fine. The next thing in my not buying category are manicures and pedicures. I am the type of girl who's not getting her nails done ever. Okay, the camera died, but we're back. So yeah, I'm not going to be spending any money on manicures and pedicures. The next thing I'm not going to be spending money on are souvenirs. So when I was taking trips, I used to get souvenirs from wherever I was, and I have stopped doing that for a while now because they can be very expensive and they just created some clutter in my space. I didn't really have any use for them, so I decided that I will stop spending money on souvenirs, and instead I'm going to have videos and photographs as memories from that trip. The last thing I'm not going to be spending money on this new year is alcohol. Maybe it is easy for me to throw that in this category because I really don't like the taste of alcohol. I haven't drunk alcohol in years. I don't like drinking, I don't like the taste of it, and of course it's not the best for our bodies, we all know that. So alcohol is the last thing that I'm not going to be buying this year. So there we have it, guys. These are all of my categories, necessities, treat myself, and things I'm not buying. I hope this video inspired you to maybe do your own low spend year. Maybe it gave you some ideas on where to cut back from, because this year we're going to be wealthy girls and all the years to come. We're going to try to have a positive energy around money. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye friends!